Hello and welcome to Pokemon TCG Center. It's been a while since I uploaded something on my channel. Finally, here I'm back. And in today's video, we're looking at Darkrai VSTAR deck that I actually used in one of my tournaments where I scored 4 victories. And I really need to say that this deck is really good. I don't remember where I stole the deck list specifically for this build, but probably I'm gonna include it in the video description anyways. I think it was a 5th place on one of the regional tournaments like a month ago or something. So what is so special and good about Darkrai VSTAR? Well, it can one-hit knockout pretty much everything in the current meta, and it's good against other VMAX and the VSTAR and the EX decks. And it also have really cheap attack, so literally it can hit for 30 damage plus 30 more for each darkness energy attached to all of your Pokemons in play with only 2 energy cards. It have 270 HP, which makes it not that easy to one-hit knockout. For example, some decks are not capable to one-hit knockout Darkrai. For example, Miraidon and Raikou cannot one-hit knockout Darkrai VSTAR, neither Lugia. Tyranitar potentially can, but Lugia cannot. Then the list goes on. For example, some versions of Lozone box decks cannot one-hit knockout Darkrai VSTAR if they are not playing Dragonite with the choice belt. Giratina, for example, can. Also, Chin-Pao can potentially one-hit knockout to Darkrai, but it will need to discard 5 energies in order to do that. So it is definitely not that super easy to go against Darkrai. And Darkrai can set up really fast and quickly. And you will see all of the cards in the video, and I will explain all of those cards, features, mechanics, and how you should play and what you should, pretty much know about it. Also, Star Abyss ability will allow you to basically discard some cards like a Dark Patch, or potentially play 2 copies of a Dark Patch and then grab them back with Star Abyss, because that VSTAR power says that during your turn you might put up to 2 item cards from your discard pile back in your hand. So with that being said, you don't need to worry about discarding item cards in your discard pile, because as long as you have Darkrai VSTAR and that powerful ability, you can easily snap those, grab those cards from your discard pile back in your hand and play. Potentially speaking, you can play 4 Dark Patches in just a single turn, or you can get 2 copies of Cross Switch and switch something from your opponent bench and still be able to play Professor Research, which is really huge. Okay, so let's move on to the deck list. So we are playing 3 copies of Darkrai VSTAR. I'm not gonna say as a main attacking Pokemon, but it's probably gonna be considered as a main attacking Pokemon, but it is not. In some situation, it might not be the main attacking Pokemon, but the deck is based around Darkrai. And that's because we also have some other cards like Galarian Moltres and also Galarian Moltres Baby in the deck, and those Pokemons can also hit heavy, and they can pretty much be played and accelerated really quickly. Obviously, until turn 2, you're not going to be able to hit with the Darkrai VSTAR, and we also play 3 copies of a Darkrai V in this build as well. So as I mentioned, you're not going to be able to attack with the Darkrai VSTAR until the turn 2, and you don't want to use Darkrai V to attack for 130. That's where the Galarian Moltres V comes into play. With the Darkflame Wings ability, once during a turn, you might attach Darkness Energy from a discard pile to Galarian Moltres. So theoretically speaking, if you have combination of cards like Radiant Greninja, 2 energies, and a Dark Patch, you can play Radiant Greninja, discard that Darkness Energy, put it in your discard pile, play ability with the Moltres, attach energy, potentially play Ultra Ball for that energy, and if you have already 1 more energy in your hand, you can power up Galarian Moltres turn 1 with a Dark Patch, which is mind-blowing thing. But also it helps you later in the game to power it up, even if you lose Darkrai VSTAR or Moltres with 3 energy cards. It's not super hard to get back. and it can hit for 190, which can potentially be devastating turn 1 for some Pokemons like Swallow, Luminium V, and even what else is under 190 HP. Also for maybe, let's say, Raikou and Magnezone, also Giratina V, as long as you have, for example, Choice Belt. So we are playing 2 copies of Galarian Moltres. Galarian Moltres is one of those cards that can be used for that energy acceleration, as well as Baby Galarian Moltres, and we are playing 2 copies of them. So after our opponent managed to grab 1 prize card, Galarian Moltres attack is increased for 50. So the more prize cards our opponent is capable to take, and the more game progresses and moves on, the more Fiery Red attack will does to our opponent active Pokemon. So if our opponent grabs 5 prize cards, Galarian Baby Moltres hits for 270 damage. With the Choice Belt, it can one-hit knock out even Giratina VSTAR, which is huge. And it also have the powerful ability which says when you play it from your hand on your bench, you might attach up to 2 darkness energies from your hand to this Pokemon. And this is really, really powerful. Additionally, we also have 1 Luminium V. Just in case if we stuck without, you know, a supporter card, we can always Ultra Ball for Luminium. And that's really huge. We also have 1 copy of Manaphy to protect our bench if it's necessarily. And also Radiant Greninja with that powerful ability which says that you can discard an energy from your hand in order to use it. And once during your turn, you might drop 2 cards. And that's also really, really good in this deck because it allows you to move quickly through your deck. In order to go quickly through a deck, we have 4 copies of Trekking Shoes in this build. And with 4 copies of Trekking Shoes, you can easily go fast through your deck and grab what you need, and what you don't need you can just discard. So with the Trekking Shoes, you can look at the top card of your deck and you might put that card in your hand. If you don't, discard that card and draw a card. So with 4 copies of Trekking Shoes, yes, potentially speaking, we can fast move on through the deck. Additionally, we have 4 copies of Cross Switch that I mentioned earlier. Cross Switch is really good, and probably this is one of the, I should say, unique decks that can use Cross Switch. Some version of Palkia VSTAR deck with Chien-Pao also plays Cross Switch, but also some version of Lost Box Charizard, Radiant Charizard versions also play Cross Switch, and could play Cross Switch because, you know, with the Lawzone, with the Confies and the Colorless Experiment, you can go quickly to your deck and you know, pick whatever you need, discard whatever you don't need. When you have 2 Cross Switches, you must play 2 Cross Switch at once. You can switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon, and if you do, you can switch your active Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. Actually, you must switch. And that's pretty much powerful, in my opinion, in this deck, because you can grab it with Darkrai VSTAR ability, and it can definitely be good. The most important thing about Darkrai is a Dark Patch. So we all remember how powerful and broken Darkrai EX was, the original Darkrai EX, with that Dark Lock ability back in Dark Explorers era and back in 2012, you know, Pokemon X and EX Black and White era. So we have Dark Patch reprinted in Astral Radiance, and if you're not familiar with the Dark Patch, you can attach a basic energy darkness from your discard pile to one of your benched Pokemons, and we play 4 copies of a Dark Patch in this build. So once we have Dark Patch and Galarian Moltres, you can actually start figuring out how quickly this deck can set up and how powerful it can be. In some situations, in some specific situations, I was able to literally play 7 or 8 energy cards in just a single turn by effect of Dark Patch, Galarian Moltres V, and attaching energy from my hand, which is mind-blowing. In order to set up, we have 4 copies of Ultra Ball, and additionally 3 copies of Battle VIP Pass. So that's 7 cards in total for setup. And the most important is that with the Ultra Ball, we can discard 2 cards that could potentially be energy cards, because this deck plays 14 energy cards in total. And additionally to that, we can literally set up fast and furious with this setup. Total 7 cards for setup, in my opinion, it's more than enough. Additionally, we have 1 copy of Escape Rope, 1 copy of a Paw Pad, and also 2 copies of a Choice Belt. So with the Choice Belt, attacks of our Pokemon will does 30 more damage to upon its active Pokemon Wii. And that's really important, because with only 2 energies on Darkrai VSTAR and Choice Belt, you can hit for 120. It might not seem a lot, but for 2 energy cards, 120, it's not that bad in my opinion, considering the fact that Pokemon have 270 HP and also powerful VSTAR ability, and all other support that you can imagine with Galarian Moltres and Galarian Moltres Wii. So for supporter lineup, this deck plays 4 copies of Professor Research. Yes, 4 copies of Professor Research, no Iono, no Roxanne, no cards like that. You just want to hit Professor Research and you're good. You don't need more than Professor Research, trust me. Additionally to that, we also have Serena and 1 Clara. So with Serena and Clara, we can use Serena for Pokemon Catcher. We can use Clara to, you know, get Galarian Moltres into Darkness Energies to get that extra 60 damage bump if it's necessarily. Speaking about Stadium cards, we have 2 copies of Pokestop, where we don't need to worry too much about, you know, playing them, because if you discard supporter card, you can bring it back with the Paw Pad. If you discard item cards, you can bring them back with the Darkrai VSTAR ability. If you discard energy cards, you can bring them back with Moltres and Dark Patch. So Pokestop is literally the best Stadium card that you can play in this deck. But additionally to Pokestop, we also have 1 copy of Templar of Sinnoh. Why Templar of Sinnoh is good? Because it can negate all special energy cards in play. It can help us against some matchups like Lugia, and also against maybe Gardevoir specifically, if they play more than 1 reversal energy. 1 copy of Collapse Stadium is also really good in this deck. Why? You can get rid of your Luminium V, but you can also get rid of your heavily damaged Darkrai VSTAR. And you don't need to worry too much about that, because you will lose only 2 energy cards that will be 60 damage, but you will gain a lot by not losing 2 prize cards by playing Collapse Stadium. And in my opinion, that's really, really good. And additionally, deck also plays 14 regular basic Darkness energy cards. And that is the deck list. In my opinion, well-balanced deck list. And if you're looking for a Darkrai VSTAR deck list, and if you're looking for a Darkrai VSTAR list to play, you should definitely consider this deck list to try it out. Of course, you can test some cards like Iono if you like, but in my opinion, list works perfect. It can set up fast, it can hit heavy. It's really consistent, which is the most important thing in a competitive Pokemon trading card game. And every other trading card game, if you want to win, you need consistent deck list. And the consistent deck list is based around consistent cards, like a Trekking Shoes in this case, Ultra Ball, Dark Patch, Cross Switch, Professor Research, multiple energy cards, dozens of energy cards, and Pokemons that rely on low energy attack cost. The biggest concern I had about a list was lack of the switch option, you know. But trust me, with 4 cross switches and Escape Rope, you're good with that as well. So this is the deck list. I hope you enjoy watching it. Make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos if you already didn't. And also please consider checking ccgcastle.com just in case if you're looking forward to buy any of these cards. You can also earn some coins, which can later be, redeemed for, store credit and so on and so on. And they have fast shipping, rock bottom prices, and also really great customer service. So that's it for today's video. We'll see you next time. Till then, have a nice day and goodbye.